de adu mo woni woni sigal kama ala sigal dendala ila amu mende alma ala yo duwala wo be yo solo ay dolle baari muso futu benke tan yimo sonko solo ne nyima e dimbatal bari futu wuto kono ani bi tema lundene man soton to selsi tema ka ko ani diyamu solo ni mi matte anene man soto lu wolu safo bile biyata kununti solo mun to lamo kende bal ala bonna korda kono aya akatanye kasara bal solo na ala muso anin to bama manke tam binki itolle be suo kono so ko kunna family ma sale biye sumayla son ko be biyam kata façon ko ni be biyam kata sa aju bari tolle na portale kono solo na ni muske ba be sirin suo ko ku na nyanta kala ni muske ba ko to jamin to ba kala to ka solo ya ku na bi kala ko to mala ko to kala ni ta son ko ku na bi kala bi wakala ko to ka ni be ku ran solo burin suo ko le ala ka ko da mu yi ya din to do fudalan ka ta solo ya la do ko woto biti lo to lu boro tale banda boro fana bi ay ni sola bak bayri mune atina hada bati wali ya mutam fele banko mo ya mutam fe mo be ya mutam fe wala tin biti lo to kontantale suruta bari kontantale nde kontondiro kala mo la banko kan ni atara hamo be ni ko ka to solo fata gambia le amu fa pati ay kuli de banko kan fa e bo ada ma fate ako e bo kurban ko mo se kay roso solo ni yotu tawala adun dafa woni solo nan da sile nan ko mbaya ma da pala ñu safa e non ko akonya ko tela niyo mi o bokola banko mo liye fa soto don del yola bo ko man kumaya solo ñu fonte ala suwa otumo ala ñu safa ko mutaro me kabari ya bud akonya ko arinte ko la ko kabi ko ko kata nyame dual kata nyame fay oto solo stata gambia bankode le mobe kontonna le mobe dimbarana mo duka ko kula male hinjo ne loyal ne jojodu be pende stona sabati di sani woro be duale simal mo xamu ko te almala ate so ko kuna ko le ne dunda te ko diba kuna ko fana si tentu ge jay ka don dunda ko ko dima kunda ka tambinga nkara molle mu yatiyol le mu ku keñol le mu ali mantije do dina ko le koro dima kunda ko se ko ale arma ale de so kayro da arma de le sima la jas kedira wasa.
Thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of political party leaders and politicians in the persons of Honorable Khalifa Saleh, Dr. Ismaila Ceesay, and Bachili, and the other political party representatives that are here today. I should have done it in the beginning, but I thought it's a national event, and when you say national, everyone is recognized as part of the Gambia. All the same, my apologies to the party representatives. The statement of Mohammed Sandeng, son to Solo Sandeng, will be next. Mr. Sandeng, please.
Heartfelt gratitude from my mother and my siblings for your overwhelming show of solidarity to us as a family and for paying your respects continually on daily basis to the legacy and the sacrifice of our father. We are grateful as a family. Today, we gather in reflection on the life of a man who epitomizes peace, tolerance, and sacrifice for a greater cause. Solo Sandeng saw the need for selflessness to overrule all selfish desires and considerations. Of course, Solo Sandeng epitomizes a national hero to Gambia. But for us, as his children, as his wife, he was a father who loved us dearly and who would have not done anything to lose us. On April 14, 2016, my family paid the ultimate price of being children of a man who believed. We were unceremoniously faced with the most tragic loss to befall a young, and I mean a very young family. We lost our beloved father, our breadwinner, and our consoler, and our source of inspiration, and of course a role model. That changed the trajectory of our lives towards seemingly unending uncertainty, unending sorrow, and a yearn for justice. And also, in the process, as a family, we battled with destitution, we battled with loss of home, and a loss of a loved one who can never be replaced. We were exiled. But I believe it's worth it. I would not have said this when I continued to yearn and cry nights and nights about my father and when I was sleeping. But I do today because I believe my father died for a cause which was greater than the comfort of a father to only a children of 9, but the comfort of justice, good laws, to a nation that really needed to be respected. Solo Sandeng, our father, cherished and loved us beyond anything that may exist. 7 years on, we live with the sorrows and the hardships of the loss of our father. But we thank God because we know he died for a cause which actually salvaged a greater number of his grandchildren and his family members that mourn him today. Today, a nation mourns him because of his sacrifices, and we are grateful for that. In our loss, a country found an opportune moment to unite towards a new beginning, towards a progressive nation of selfless and true actions of a man who was fully conscious of the gruesome consequences that lay before him, despite the frightening realities of coming in contact with the callous and brutal nature of that dictatorship. Solo Sandeng decided to give his life up for the greater good. This asks the question, what compels a man to make a choice over the joyful company of his family? It begs us to reflect on the values that guided Solo Sandeng. If giving up my life is what it will take to free the people of our country, then I am willing to be the sacrificial lamb. These were the words of my father. on record shortly before he embarked on that fateful and defining journey. And this asks the question which befuddles many of what would warrant a man to make such pronouncement. I ask myself this question: what makes an ordinary man an extraordinary man? Nelson Mandela, at the end of the Rivonia trial, made this statement, and I quote, "During my lifetime, I dedicated myself to this struggle of the African people. I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideals of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and win equal opportunities. It is an ideal I hope to live for and to achieve. But if need be, it is an ideal I am prepared to die." This is the belief that Solo Sandeng had as well. He lived and died for them. Thus, what makes an ordinary man extraordinary is the principles and values he lives by. Solo Sandeng strive to ensure that we enjoy a democratic and free Gambia. In continuing his legacy, it is a duty upon all to protect and preserve these values wherever we may be. My father embarked on this crusade in the interests of the country, but at the detriment of his beloved family. Is it worth it? I ask you the question. I ask you the question because he played his part and has given us the baton to see through the total emancipation of our people, and that which we must continue to fight to see that we realize. These few questions come to mind when I speak about my father and his sacrifices. Why is it important that we go out and vote? Why is it important that we preserve these freedoms? The freedoms of speech, the freedoms of assembly, and the freedoms of socialization, whether politically or otherwise. Because these are the freedoms that actually guarantee a progressive society. And as Gambians, on this day, I think we must reflect on how far we have come in achieving the true meaning of the sacrifice, or of the values that led to the sacrifice of my father on his faith. At this juncture, I crave your indulgence to recognize my father's colleagues who survive him today and who are here with us. I crave your indulgence to recognize and honor the sacrifices of the April 14th who are here with us, who continue to battle with grave health conditions as well as economic conditions. But nonetheless, they are honored as the honorable people that they are because of their sacrifices. And I want to beg everyone here to honor these people as much as we honor Solo Sandeng. They truly live to continue the legacy and the values of Solo Sandeng. At this juncture, I would have to put my reading statement down because This is an issue that touches my heart, and I have to pour my heart out. I want to say that those that are entrusted with making sure that the people of our country continue to live in harmony and in respect, that is those tasked with the responsibilities to see that what Solo Sandeng actually lived and died for is realized. My question earlier, is it worth it, is asked to people who actually hold, we all do, yes, we all as Gambians hold a great stake to achieving and realizing what Solo Sandeng died for, his dream of a free and democratic Gambia. But there are those who have and who are granted the greatest of opportunities, the most strategic of opportunities to realize this. And I ask the question, how much are you willing to do to realize this? How much are you willing? Are you happy that after 7 years, we're here respecting the legacy of Solo Sandeng without the electoral reforms he died for? Are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy?
No, no.
Are you happy that Solo Sandeng and his colleagues, their sacrifices is actually seen as any other ordinary because there is no respect for human rights as much as there should be. There is no respect for political rights as much as it should be. If we truly believe that we owe this to Solo Sandeng, then we must do it as we wished. And that is to do right by those that entrust us the responsibility to do right to them. I end my speech with that. Thank you. And then the soul of my father, the children of my family.
Thank you, Mohammed. We will go to the eulogy for Solo Sandeng by His Excellency A.N.N. Hussein Dabo, Secretary General and Party Leader of the United Democratic Party. Your Excellency, please.
Honorable Ministers present here, members of the National Assembly, my colleagues, leaders and representatives of other political parties, the Lord Mayors of Kanifing and Banjul, victims of April 14 and victims of April 16, victims of May 9, 2016. My compatriots, all protocols duly observed and respected. Today, we gather to give final farewell to Ebrima Solo Sandeng, a good Muslim, father to Malik, Aminata, Fatmata, Muhammad, Jainaba, Husainu, Elias Loya Dabo, Eliman, alias Undanyang, Shakna, and Fatima Nyali, husband to Nimbasol, and a passionate patriot who loved his country, the Gambia, and was fervently dedicated to making her free, democratic, and prosperous. 6 years after his martyrdom, a grateful nation joins his family today not only to mourn his tragic loss and pray for his soul to rest in eternal peace, but also to celebrate his well-lived life. To those of us who knew and worked with Solo in the long-drawn-out battle to defeat the brutal regime of 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈, his memory is etched into our hearts for the rest of our lives. Solo was an ordinary citizen who achieved an extraordinary outcome for our nation. His selfless devotion, the principles he believed in. Those principles were anchored in his strong belief that democracy was the best form of self-government for all who valued freedom. He also believed in the assertion of an American statesman that it takes eternal vigilance of citizens to sustain the democracy. He also believed in a similar history that democracy and the freedoms it guarantees are not free, and that only those who are willing to fight, to create, and retain their democracy would be entitled to it. The battle from 1996 to regain peace his last breath in the Charter Chambers of the United States were all centered around the principle that he and the nation he loved needed to be free from authoritarianism and the democratic. In the party of Italy, Solo was determined, humble, disciplined, and focused. He was courageous and resourceful. He believed in the peace cause, so much so that he tried to convert some NI officers to people by the presidency station in the office in Banjul. He was a self-taught man who, despite having never sat in any conventional classroom in a school setting, was able to speak and write perfect English. He had a combined wisdom, curiosity, and keen intellectual approach to everything he did. The leadership position he was given as a long-term member of the United Democratic Party executive, Solo always brought energy, excellent organizational skills, and laser focus on achieving results. He believed the journey to freedom entailed necessary sacrifices, and was always at the forefront of whatever was required, whether it was time, resources, personal comfort, or even concentration. If he believed something needed to be done, he would first try to do it before asking anyone else. Nothing stands out more in the life of Solo than the immense courage that lay beneath his humble disposition. He, like most Gambians who lived under the tyranny of 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈, was very conscious and aware of the death, culture, and disappearances that were the hallmark of that cruel regime. And that personal experience, as well as intimate knowledge of the regime's cruelty, but was never the one to be covered. He believed that the price of freedom requires sacrifice, and he possessed the courage to face the dangers that stood between what obtained and what he aspired for our nation. So I believe, as long as there exists a Gambia, Gambians ready and willing to fight for freedom. That was what drove him from 1996 to the day he was martyred in the hands of killers who believed by killing these good sons of the land, they were killing the principles he believed in. The brutality of their conduct 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈, the 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈 family, as well as the larger Zambian family of his country. In giving sole exercising constitutional rights, our nation regained democracy that was interrupted for 22 years. This ultimate sacrifice of losing his life is what gave us deliverance from the Zambian regime. We must know that democracy that exists today is not a gift wrapped token bestowed on us, the citizens. Neither is it a miracle that materialized out of the thin air. It is the product of 22 years of struggle paid for by the blood, tears, and sweat, and sacrifices of countless brother citizens, all of our population who believed in and acted that tyranny needed to be confronted and democracy was worth fighting for. These are the people who defeated the 𝒊𝒏𝒇𝒐𝒓𝒎𝒂𝒕𝒊𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 under the Constitution with a promise to uphold democratic values, promote and protect the fundamental rights and freedom gifted to us by God. That is why when freedoms are seized, in whatever, under whatever guise, those who value it become duty bound to reclaim it, whatever price that may include. So long as the Catholic, and one of the principal architects of the 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈. It is an undeniable fact that Ebrima Solo Sandeng died in the battle for freedom and democracy. It is our duty to uphold his legacy and that of all those who fell in the battle for a better Zambia. The best way to honor the sacrifice of the fallen is to live up to the principle of freedom and democracy for which they paid ultimate price. Naming monuments after death and giving national funeral is power of symbolic and optic value, but legislating good and purpose, and more importantly, by demonstrable conduct, manifesting the core principles of freedom and democracy he advocated and believed in would be the most befitting tribute to him. Free people living in a democracy that democracy must live like free people in a democracy. Through that principle, whose validation must go beyond government affirmation. No Gambian should ever again be a victim of their own government. We must all uphold every indication of right violation and cease unscrupulous adherence to the rule of law. All the citizens and the government have a duty to safeguard the freedom and democracy that's all life. To the family of Solo Sandeng, you have the heartfelt condolences to a grateful nation. As you become the water to me, of your welcome, of our family, to precisely your father, husband, uncle, my friend, my younger brother, my company, my protector. We stand tall in the annals of the legacy of his selflessness, courage, and dedication. We pray for Allah to grant him Jannah and bless his nation. Solo Sandeng, Sandeng Tiana, Nonkolibana, Kawiere, 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈, 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈. On the 14th of April, Media Fire Google Congo, 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈. 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈. Solo Sandeng, bila berkalang, dia berkalang ini Zambia berkumpul. Baru berbeda lo kata dia berkumpul. Kami ada, ufanya isi punya siapa, lijana. Kita kafanya la moro iko, lijana. Kita kafanya pati apa lijana. Absalo punya saya apa lijana. So, ini kumpul. Kita dia lembag Allah, na kaya ko. Allah telah sekolah sifat mana, sekolah mana dia orang kafir, apa tu dan dia sawala, orang sekolah sekolah. ni ala kita ala ba ko no mas so ala mai kila Muhammad kila ala mai ta akide tadi sama itu alhamdulillah berkata
The poet 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈 will have a short poem for us as we continue paying our respect to Ebrima Solo Sandeng. Mr. Gay, please.
But if I would need to put low, you see? I have a low, but why am I?
When you speak for your fellow man, he will judge you. When you speak for God, men will ignore you. When you speak for the truth, they will say to their friends, he is but a self-righteous fool and we do not listen to him. When you speak for freedom, men of power will fear you because power is the illegitimate child of tyranny, and tyranny is nothing but the insecure guy hitting you in the head with ideas he hopes will keep you on your knees while he feeds lies from his monstrous ego. That is why when you march on the streets with your placards demanding for freedom, tyranny will march against you and demand for your life. And like Martin, Malcolm, and Nelson Solo Sandeng paid that price. Because few men understand that bad men are not bad men until they bend the will of every man, and most men will bend to the will of power, but some men love freedom more than they fear death. Some men understand that sometimes sacrifice is a one-way ticket and they still get on the flight. Some men will murder dishonesty in cold blood, pack him in a box, bury him under a cave and proudly kiss the barrel of the executioner's gun because they would rather sleep 6 feet underneath the ground than tell the kind of lies that turn leaders into monsters. Some men, those men, are the nightmares that keep tyrants and dictators awake all night, because all it takes to burn down a kingdom of lies is one honest man willing to die for the truth. Some men dare to dream. Some men have hope. And maybe hope is nothing but a loan that we owe to a guy named Tomorrow who lives in a place called the future. But his promise is the legend that gives meaning to human life. And what is life without meaning? What is life without purpose? Solo died because in a country of more than 2 million people, one lie grew so big that good, honest men have to trade their honor for breadcrumbs. He died because we remained silent for so long that we forgot the taste of liberty and the feeling of freedom. He died because in 1994, a little monster walked into our house and we kept him in a room. We fed and raised him without question, and when he grew big enough and started killing, we had forgotten that we had the right to say no. Solo died. Solo died because we killed a little bit of ourselves every time we voted for that monster. Every time we praised that monster. Every time we lied against our fellow countrymen for that monster. Every time we changed the law for that monster. Every time we broke the law for that monster. Every time we made the law for that monster. And all the times we remained quiet while that monster broke and violated the fundamental human rights of our people. Solo died so that you could be free. But are you? Solo died so that someone like me can recite a poem like this standing here because freedom is not free, and Solo understood that. Because few men understand that bad men are not bad men until they bend every man to their will, and most men will bend to the will of corrupt power. But some men love freedom more than they fear death. Some men understand that sometimes sacrifice is a one-way ticket and they still get on that flight. Some men will murder dishonesty in cold blood, park him in a box, bury him under a cave, and proudly kiss the executioner's barrel because they would rather sleep 6 feet underneath the ground than tell the kind of lies that turn leaders into monsters. Some men. Those men are the nightmares that keep tyrants and dictators awake all night, because all it takes to burn down a kingdom of lies is one honest man willing to die for the truth. So are you most men? Or are you some men? Because Solo died so that you could be free. And no one here is free. Rest in peace.
Ladies and gentlemen, cabinet ministers, members of the diplomatic community, civil society, the Sandeng family, I have the honor to invite a representative of His Excellency, the President, Ebrima Barrow, represented here by the Attorney General and the Honorable Minister for Justice, Mr. 𝒂𝒊𝒗𝒊𝒏𝒈.
Honorable ministers here present, members of the diplomatic and consular corps, the Ebrima Solo Sandeng family, leaders of political parties here present, the Lord Mayor and Mayors of KMC and Banjul respectively, all distinguished ladies and gentlemen, invitees, I stand on the existing protocol. We are gathered here today to pay our last respect to the Ebrima Solo Sandeng, the spiritual son of this country, a man who stood against dictatorship, a man who paid ultimate price in fighting for the cause he genuinely believed in. He has left an indelible mark in the political history of this country. Solo was committed to making a difference in people's lives. He volunteered his services for the development of this community and the nation at large. Solo demonstrated his passion for democracy, education, social justice, and human rights through the various institutions he rendered his invaluable services to. Today, irrespective of our political affiliations and differences, and after 6 long years, we as a nation are gathered to finally give Solo the befitting burial he deserves. I therefore, on behalf of His Excellency, the President, and on behalf of the government, once again wish to extend my condolences to the Sandeng family, friends, loved ones, and everyone who is here to remember and honor him. The number of people who have shown up today to pay their last respect is a testimony of his love for our mother, the Gambia. In whatever role we knew him, from whatever vantage point, he stood apart as someone special. Solo was a catalyst to our newfound democracy. He inspired the masses to express their desire and vote for change and freedom. Solo's legacy has inspired us in our current security sector reforms and the transitional justice process as a whole. We cannot bring back the lost loved ones, but we are committed to ensure that what happened to Solo never happens in this country, that we go to Solo. In addition to Solo's devotion to the nation, Solo is remembered as a jovial, caring, and kind, supportive individual by his family. He is remembered for his tolerance and commitment towards democratic ideals. Although we lost him to an appalling atrocity meted on him, we wish to remember him as somebody who fought for his country, and we remember him for his braveness, determination, and patriotism. We are committed to safeguarding the legacy of Solo Sandeng, and we therefore cannot relent in our efforts. We can only strive to do better and continue to strengthen the work done towards achieving a system that is built on the foundation of rule of law, democracy, strong institutions, good governance, and justice. It is indeed heartwarming for Solo Sandeng's family and the country that we have attained justice for him. We wish to reiterate that his legacy will continue to live on in history of our democratic transition as a nation. Solo will be missed by many, but will never be forgotten in our hearts. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I'll now call on Mohammed Mamoon Joe to lead us in Quranic recitation. Mohammed Mamoon, please.
Never again. Never again. Real never again. Real one. Real never again. Real never again. Full time electoral.
I've been shown to the political leaders right there.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة إن الله مع الصابرين ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون ولنبلونكم بشيء من الخوف والجوع ونقص من الأموال والأنفس والثمرات وبشر الصابرين الذين إذا أصابتهم مصيبة قالوا إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون أولئك عليهم صلوات من ربهم ورحمة وأولئك هم المهتدون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون صدق الله العظيم.
Thank you, Mr. Job. We'd like to express our condolences to the Sandeng family, Mohammed and the brothers and the sisters. We'd like to pay our respect to them as a nation, to say we are aware that here lie your father, for the sacrifices is made for the Gambia. The representatives here from the different political parties, from the government, from civil society, is testimony to how much we appreciate the sacrifice that he did for our country and for the freedoms that he stood for. Now I would like to invite the representative of the President and Cabinet Ministers to bid their farewell, to be led in a procession in a line going this way. First row, followed by second row, and all of us in that order. Please, Honorable Minister. Thank you very much for coming, and we appreciate the time, the support from everybody across the four corners of the Gambia. Thank you, Gambia. This is much appreciated.
Yeah.
Kindly, okay, let's create a way here.
wala kan election ko jela dunya ni la eli bay ko mi do be ne man so na jedi le la ni mi do ta da la kira because of Gambiano abu muslima Christian yela life sacrifice free data alma andala arajan ko je ila ni sa alma ni dem kulaji eli bay ko mi do be ne ko te jedi le la ye bal kele ni dara ko ya azati bu sen fa ni Allahu akbar alme kala Muhammad marko alme bulal Muhammad kalbe lo ko
very strong politician. Even
President Adama Barrow mang advice soto mbe menki lae di fakko amanna jang dorong waya tanjilo ko amanjari moye waya amare barintol ngammel lol lata ala adu wolen toñati. This country is bigger than anybody regardless of your position. Itela naja nyinna najang journalist la najang funding ke wala najang wala kumayata title beti way men tandi wala Gambia dingol ilafta Gambia lale ilafta Gambia taru luwa anin tilimo anin toñaka woda male kumayata ko ku yaje alors que القرآن وكل سورة كل من عليها فان يفهم في جابه بناله أبي كسارة له ويبقى وجه ربك ذو الجلال والإكرام على دم على من سيأتي كأننا أدوم على بمنكم تونيان تلدوسي لولكم. We are more hopeful today that this country, the Gambia, will become a better country based on democracy, human rights, rule of law, peace and progress. And we know that the young people, the thousands of young Gambians who are spiritual and political sons and daughters of Solo Sandeng will carry on this fight and they'll be victorious, inshallah.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
And that was because not only Mayor Solo it has already Ilaka Solo because Solo national hero Janaka Gabriel 2016.
Guys, I'm not going to tell you that I'm not going to be
be good men like what the government but having the peace from the side the elections act so remember what side the popular act na criminal court na loi bunda jama melalo ye mol nyanto e bonfa wala kabandi nyamelo le place de ka criminal jama ani ko bisit pas bebe ko nek an ñu dem ko dinamo e solo ma wala so ni ko ko men dañu yadon ko ni kala te dem ne ko wala ni Mohamed Saleh te ñew ko ko sita te fa so dem sa janga esa ko so ko e ben are you disappointed with the turnout? Yes, I'm disappointed with the turnout. And I mentioned for Gambia to Hanisai, Mam Pablo, Manna Bambokan, can Nendiaku, Manna Bambola, Manna Bambokan, Naba Yama, Bemman Navarana, Gambia Bemman Navarana.
That's the family of Solo Sandeng.
We have lost son, like Solo Sandeng. You know, but it is a day of celebration also because through his life, we were able to defeat dictatorship and restore a democracy that we are not satisfied with until now. And it is a day of sadness too, because it is a day that manifests betrayal. Solo did not die, did not get up to protest to die, to be given a burial. Solo got up because he wants to salvage the Gambia. He got up to defend human rights, to defend democracy, to defend rule of law. And that he was the catalyst that brought us here. Therefore, Solo died for a cause. And so if we get to a day like today, we should have seen by now the ideas for which Solo died manifested in this country, that laws change, that the malpractices in the government stop, that the plunder of public resources stop, that the rule of law is respected, that there are no arbitrary arrests and detention and other forms of violations. But until today, that is taking place, and taking place under the leadership of people who benefited from Solo's protest. So the president, Adama Barrow, and all the coalition leaders, coalition parties, they benefited from Solo, but they all betrayed Solo. From Adama Barrow to Ousseynou Dabo, Halifa Sallah, to Sidia Jatta, from Mata Tambayang to Assetou Touré, Amaya Fati, Henry Gomez, and so on. All those coalition leaders, they betrayed Solo, and so it's a shame that they all came here to try to show remorse, to try to celebrate Solo, yet fail to implement the ideas, the objectives which made Solo stand up. So they have all betrayed Solo, and that is very sad.
Okay, in fact, are you disappointed? Are you disappointed that the president is not present here?
In one sense, disappointed because he's the head of state. This is a state funeral, and in any nation on earth, a state funeral is led by the head of state. So on that score, I'm disappointed. But I'm not disappointed also because the president is the biggest betrayer, is the first betrayer of the cause that Solo stood up for. So it is good that he did not even come here to pollute the sanctity, the dignity of Solo. So on that score, I'm not disappointed. But yes, by protocol, he should have been here. And there is absolutely no excuse why the president should not be here, because he's in the country. He has not been announced that he is sick. There is no situation in the country, security situation, whatever, no disaster, to claim that the president cannot move to this place, which is a walking distance from the State House to this place. So he doesn't even need a vehicle. He could have walked to this place. So this, what it indicates is the president's gross negligence of duty. He has failed Solo. He has failed the Gambian people for failing to come here. And I think the National Assembly and the Gambian people must hold him accountable for failing to appear at a state funeral.
Well, what does it mean for the legacy of Solo Sandeng? The things he died for, such as electoral reforms and others, are yet to be realized.
Yes, so that is the betrayal that all the coalition political parties and leaders are committed against Solo Sandeng. His legacy, his sacrifice, his ideal, his objective remains sacrosanct, remains a decent national objective that will always stand the test of time. It is we, and particularly these leaders who are in charge of our institutions of governance, who have failed Solo Sandeng and the Gambian people by failing to bring the reforms that Solo asked for and died for. Solo did not ask for a state funeral. That wasn't his objective. His objective is a free, democratic Gambia.
What needs to be done in order for his legacy to be honored?
For people to be honest, particularly the president and the executive, the legislature, and the political parties, particularly those that came to form the coalition in the wake of his protest, who benefited from his death. Because it is thanks to Solo Sandeng, all of them got into power. They were members in the executive, they were members in the legislature, they had the power, the means, the resources to bring about legal and institutional reforms, and they failed to do so. So Solo's legacy remains constant, unshakable.
Mahdi, like you said, the president failed to come here at a state funeral, something as important as this. What would you tell him? Do you think he should apologize?
The president should apologize, whether that anybody cares about that, but he needs to apologize, but not just apologize, he needs to be held accountable. I think the National Assembly and the Gambian citizens need to call the president to hold him to account, to answer as to why he would fail, he would refuse to come and honor a national hero, to come and honor and even a personality that was the result of the end of dictatorship in this country. That is gross negligence of duty, gross act of irresponsibility on his part as a person and as a president. Because each and every Gambian from Banjul to Basse has a duty, a moral duty to be here. It is so disappointing that Gambians refuse to come here. Each and every Gambian has a duty to come here, more so those that we have elected and appointed in government. They have a moral and legal obligation. The president has a legal and moral obligation for coming here. So he has violated his legal and political obligations to the Gambian people, and he needs to be held accountable for it.
Okay, please, this question. How did Solo's death play a role in the fall of 𝒂𝒊𝒏𝒈?
Yes, because Solo's death, the protest of April 14, we saw what happened, the mass arrest of him and his compatriots, and leading to his death. This culminated in the UDP leadership 2 days later to get up to demand his body, dead or alive, and all of them again harangued and beaten up and then arrested and then eventually jailed, all culminated into raising more fire, more fuel, giving Gambians more courage, removing that sense of fear out of Gambians to say never again started there. But no more, we are not going to be afraid anymore. We are going to stand up to liberate ourselves, to salvage ourselves. And so Solo's death was really that catalyst that led to the creation of that coalition that all Gambians rallied behind, voted into office until we are here today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
That's all we have for you here. Hello, Nick. Thank you so much. That's all we have for you here. It was official funeral and tribute service to Ebrima Solo Sandeng here in the arch in Banjul. Now people are going towards Dipakunda for the burial.